All right, I want to share with you a warning that was sent out from the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops' Secretariat of Catholic Education. It raises concerns over a proposed rule that would revise regulations governing Title IX. That's a law enacted to prevent discrimination on the basis of sex. But the Biden administration's Department of Education is now seeking to expand the federal definition of sex discrimination to include discrimination on the basis of gender and gender identity. Essentially, this will enable the left to weaponize Title IX in order to suppress any dissent in their gender theory that's permeating classrooms across the nation. So the question is, how concerned should you be if you're a parent or a grandparent, and what impact will this law have? Here to explain is the former Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General, Katie Sullivan. Katie, good to see you.
Hi, Sean.
Hi. You know, you wrote an op-ed that just came out about this where you argue that the Department of Education actually lacks the constitutional authority to do this. Explain why.
So I think that we had some incredible rulings from the Supreme Court in the last term, obviously Dobbs being the one that had a tremendous amount of focus. Another one called West Virginia versus EPA got very little attention. And really, if you read mainstream media and left kind of media, they will lead you to believe that it's really only about the EPA, but it wasn't. Justice Roberts and Justice Gorsuch, in his concurring opinion, basically shot across the bow of all administrative action. And what you said in your opening, Sean, that I think is so important, is that this is the Biden administration. This is not Congress. The separation of powers, this is all just the executive branch has decided that they are going to redefine sex from biology of a male and a female to include gender and gender identity as it is applied in Title IX, which is, of course, the anti-discrimination statute passed in 1972 and signed by President Nixon. So this is a massive change in the way that schools will operate, and I believe that parents should be terrified.
Okay, so talk about the change in phrase, because Title IX uses the phrase sex discrimination, and they want to change it to gender discrimination. So by redefining that specific language, how would that change the way things are right now?
So there's very specific statutes, Lindsay, and there's very specific changes in the regulations in which they explain exactly what the Title IX coordinator does, what sexual harassment is. It explains, in essence, what would be deemed sexual harassment. It includes, and sexual harassment, of course, would include gender identity. So protecting a child's gender identity, it really trumps any parental or family values, because the teachers and educators and the administrators and the Title IX coordinators are actually allowed to push the gender identity of the child or talk to them or give them education about it and not include the parents at all.
So let me ask you this. If you're a parent right now and you are concerned, based on what you just said, what can and should you do?
I believe that the executive branch does not have the right to take this action without congressional. Congress has not redefined sex. They have repeatedly not done that. They have declined to do that on multiple occasions. And so I really believe that the attorney generals in multiple states should be prepared to file lawsuits. There were 350,000 comments. They're reduced if comments are repetitive or if there's sort of a form that's put out. They're saying that there's 189,000 separate comments. Most of those are against this bill or this regulation rather, and against the amendment. Now, the Department of Education should take those into consideration before enacting. But I think we've seen the way the Biden administration has been railroading a lot of things, just like Seb was talking about, through the Department of Justice And so we can expect that these will be enacted the way they're written. And at that time, there needs to be very swift legal action, as this is a huge and absolutely inappropriate overreach of the Biden administration. Parents specifically can really ask the school for the curriculum, and they have the right to get their curriculum. It's not always as easy as just asking. They can charge a lot of money. They can really play some games with meeting those requests. You should absolutely be asking and finding out.
Okay. Katie Sullivan, really appreciate you joining us. Thank you for the warning.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, there were primaries in 3 states last night, the final 3 in the nation. We are going to break them all down after the break. Stay with us. You'll know what you need to know.